Even Sarah seemed to realize what she'd just admitted. My father-in-law's voice was cold. "Get out of my house. Don't come back." Sarah looked around the room at her family, her children, her husband. All of them were looking at her with horror and disgust. "Fine," she spat, "but I'm taking my children." "No," her husband said firmly. "You're not. Kids, come here." All 4 children ran to their father, even baby Lexativa in Faye's arms. Sarah stood alone in the center of the room, finally seeing the consequences of her actions. She left without another word, slamming the door behind her. The family sat in stunned silence for a moment before my mother-in-law started crying. "I'm so sorry," she sobbed, reaching for my hand. "I should have believed you. All those babies. I'm so sorry." The aftermath was swift. Catherine, terrified of losing her pharmacy license, came forward with a full confession about switching my vitamins. She provided receipts, text messages from Sarah, everything needed to prove what had happened. Sarah's husband filed for emergency custody and a restraining order. The divorce papers cited her journal as evidence of her being an unfit mother. He also shared that he'd found searches on her computer for how to induce miscarriage dating back years. Sarah's mommy blog imploded when someone leaked excerpts from her journal to her followers. The woman who'd built her brand on being the perfect mother was exposed as a calculating sociopath who'd poisoned family members and sabotaged pregnancies. Within days, she lost everything: her husband, her children, her family, her online following. The adoption agency called to apologize and reactivate our application, noting that the fraudulent complaints would actually strengthen our case by showing we could handle adversity. 3 months later, my husband and I stood in a courthouse, finalizing the adoption of newborn twins. We named them Charlotte and James, reclaiming the names Sarah had stolen. As we signed the papers, I thought about the long journey that had brought us here. Sarah was facing criminal charges for the vitamin tampering, though her lawyer was pushing for a plea deal involving mental health treatment instead of jail time. Her children were thriving with their father, finally free from their mother's toxic influence. Faye had started calling me Aunt Emma again, and she'd asked if she could help babysit the twins when they were older. "I want to be a good big cousin," she'd said, "not like my mom was a sister." As we drove home with our babies, my husband reached over and squeezed my hand. We'd survived Sarah's campaign of terror, and somehow we'd come out stronger. The twins gurgled in their car seats, and I smiled through my tears. Sarah had tried to steal everything from me, but in the end, she'd only stolen from herself. I had my family, my babies, my life back. And Sarah? She had exactly what she'd always given others: nothing but the consequences of her own cruelty. The courthouse adoption ceremony ended at noon. By 12:30, Sarah was already causing problems. My husband spotted her first, standing across the street from the courthouse steps where we were taking photos with Charlotte and James. She wore oversized sunglasses and a baseball cap, but her rigid posture gave her away. "Don't look," he whispered, shifting to block her view of the twins. The photographer noticed our tension and suggested we move to the courthouse garden. As we walked away, I heard rapid footsteps behind us. Sarah had crossed the street. "Those should have been my names to give," she called out. Security intercepted her before she got close. We watched them escort her away while she shouted about her rights as an aunt. The twins slept through it all, unaware of the drama surrounding their first official day as ours. That afternoon, we discovered Sarah had been busier than we thought. Our adoption announcement on social media, posted by my mother-in-law with our permission, had been screenshot and reposted on Sarah's new blog with commentary about baby thieves and name stealers. Catherine texted me a warning. Sarah had been at the pharmacy that morning, asking strange questions about infant